Salam alaikum. We will be discussing a lot today, so brace yourself. So, the election has passed, and if you're wondering which election is this, it's the election for the colonial state of New Zealand. The colonial name for Aotearoa. In this video, I'll be briefly discussing the shenanigans of Liecinda Decievedem, and very briefly Judith Collins or Karen Supreme. The reason why I want to dissect Jacinda Liecinda more is because she represents fake woke's liberal toxicity. Let's talk. 2019, Ihumatao commenced after Fletchers wanted to develop on stolen land, which has a lot of spiritual and cultural value for our Tangata Whenua. What did Liecinda say? She didn't want to get involved, even though Tangata Whenua were extending their invitations for her to visit the Whenua, Ihumatao. But she didn't want to get involved. Another thing she didn't want to get involved when she went into power is Western Sahara. In 2008, it is worth mentioning when she was the president of the International Union of Socialist Youth. She was one of the very few foreigners, white people, that visit Western Sahara. Western Sahara is being colonized by Morocco, and New Zealand state is purchasing phosphate, therefore supporting colonialism. Now she is prime minister. Crickets. Next crickets is she was caught handshaking with the Chinese leader and visited China. During this time, East Turkestan experiencing an ongoing colonial violence has progressed to the next stage of internment camps. That sounds very familiar. World War II, the Holocaust. What did Liecinda say? She took the fake woke road and kind of told China off, slap on the wrist, nothing that serious, eh? Then we have the issue of conversion therapy. What did she say in 2019? She told us that conversion therapy, wait for it, is religious freedom for some. Fast forward to 2020, near the elections, she supported the ban on conversion therapy. How fake woke can you be? Then, recently, we have a referendum concerning cannabis law, which was about reform, which basically meant that if it became legalized, there would be changes in persecution that affected Maori and Pacifica communities. Liecinda voted for it. But when it didn't pass, there was no push for reforms to be reconsidered. Now we jump to Karen Supreme, Mega Karen, Judith Collins. All I can say about that twat is that she's the epitome of white privilege and she's a nuclear Karen. And National Party used her to really shake things up, but they end up losing. Like, what can I say? All the things that come out of her mouth is nonsense. Just like how she got triggered, like when you hit a wasp nest over the fact that people care about Tangata Whenua issues. And before I commence this video, I just remembered Liecinda said that the government isn't really going to increase the beneficiary payments, even though we know the beneficiary payments in this fine nation is unlivable.